Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Strasburg, Virginia, for the first ever Model Railroad Smackdown. Tonight, he's taking on any and all contenders. In this corner, the champ, coming in at just under 3.5 pounds and featuring a blistering 22-inch radius curve. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the world's lightest helix. The objective of today's event is to find out what will run and what won't run on our 22-inch radius helix. But first, let's go back a few months. You see, I built this helix, made a video about it, and shared it online. For the most part, people thought it was interesting, and it generated plenty of discussion. But there's that one guy in every crowd or message board that has to be a naysayer, and that made Mr. Helix angry. Well, I take the good and the bad. After all, it comes with the territory. And with that in mind, we're going to put it all on the table and find out what works and what doesn't. Speaking of available freight cars and locomotives, good Googamoo, would you look at that? I want you to meet a guy that has a ton of available equipment. He's like a model railroad sugar daddy. And we move on to the first round of qualifying with the diesel class. The locomotive must be able to run properly on 22-inch radius at normal track speeds and complete 3 laps around the layout. Our first competitor this evening represents the 4-axle diesel family. It's an EMD GP40-2 from Atlas. I'll tell you what, Brandon, that Jeep really took those curves with grace. Very impressive. And now we move on to our next competitor representing the 6-axle diesel family. This monster is a GE ET44AH from Intermount. Simply fantastic! What a show this is turning out to be. Our next competitor representing the 6-axle diesel family hails from Scale Trains. This behemoth is the tried and true GE-9. And with the diesel qualifying complete, we end up with a wide variety of 4- and 6-axle diesels that will be put to the test later in our competition. And now we move on to steam qualifying. Now the rules remain the same, and our first competitor is a 2884 articulated that hails from Bachmann Trains. This monster is nothing short. Nothing short about it. Good grief, Brandon, it takes up the whole screen. But what a beauty she is. Bennett, swing! Wow, folks, is there anybody here that's not impressed? I'll be honest and say that I didn't even think it would run on the 22-inch radius, but run it did, and so did a couple of other competitors. Also qualified in our event is a Broadway Limited T1 with a 210 four-wheel arrangement, as well as our River Rossi Allegheny 2666. Now that we have qualified locomotives, it's time to dig into the freight and passenger car categories and find out what will and will not run. We already discussed that we can't run auto racks or double stacks, but this may come as a shock. We can run excess height cars that are not long cars. That's right, those being the garden variety excess height cars in the 60 to 70 foot length range. While we're at it, these heavyweight passenger cars have limited truck swing range where they hit the coupler pockets. They just won't make it around the curves in a stock configuration. Now, I could get the snippers out. All right, let's move on and take a look at these 85-foot four-axle passenger coaches being pulled by a fantastic Athearn Genesis SD70 ACE. And we also have a special guest this evening.
I can't keep up with it, Brandon.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to break some trains.
Captain of this ship? I don't know.
Alright, Joey, so got the Broadway Limited T1. Looks like it pulled those 22 cars no problem.
We would have loved to double up those steamers, but Brandon has yet to speed match them. Sorry, maybe for another video. How about we double head this?
We got plenty of power. I think we should add another 20. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Outrageous.
It was a lot of work, but what do you think, Brandon?
We're finally done. We've spent all day testing cars, locomotives, tracks, combinations, and finally proved that the world's lightest helix works.
Because of all the smack talk from the naysayers, we found out what we wanted to know. We've proven that you don't have to be afraid to run a wide variety of locomotives and rolling stock safely on a 22-inch radius helix. We can run pretty decent sized trains, especially for a layout of this size. We'd also be willing to bet that we could run ridiculously long trains if we use distributed power. Maybe for another video, huh? Be sure to subscribe, stay tuned, and share the hobby. This is Joey Ricard with TracksideScenery.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.